In February 2022, the world witnessed Russia's shocking and brazen full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This war represented not only a massive conventional military assault, but also the opening salvos of a devastating cyber war between two nations already locked in escalating digital conflict. Russia's unprovoked attack aimed to topple Ukraine's democratically elected government and bring the country firmly into its sphere of influence. Ukraine fought back fiercely to defend its sovereignty and territory. However, the brutal war inflicted a heavy toll on human lives, forcing millions of Ukrainians to flee their homes and seek refuge elsewhere. It also wreaked havoc on the global economy, causing massive losses and instability. It is impossible to measure the costs, as it has affected every aspect of life for countless people. Alongside the kinetic warfare, both sides quickly unleashed coordinated cyber attacks against each other's digital infrastructure and systems. These aggressive cyber operations disabled key government, military, financial and civilian targets. This brewing cyber war revealed just how vulnerable nations have become as conflict increasingly spreads to cyberspace. It highlighted the urgent need for clearer rules and norms to govern escalating cyber aggression. To grasp the full extent of the cyber warfare that accompanied the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, we need to examine the historical background of hostility since 2014. That pivotal year witnessed the start of Russia's recent meddling in eastern Ukraine, which eventually led to the unlawful seizure of the Crimean Peninsula after rigged referendums. Crimea traditionally hosted Russia's Black Sea naval bases, making control strategically and symbolically important to Putin. Russia launched hybrid warfare, sending soldiers without insignia, sarcastically called "little green men" by the Ukrainians due to their obscure origins. They were commanded by Igor Girkin, a notorious criminal and a key leader in Russia's Crimean takeover. Girkin is now a sought-after war crime suspect for his role in the appalling 2014 downing of Malaysian Airlines Flight 17. This heartless act claimed 298 innocent lives by a Russian Buk missile fired from separatist-controlled territory. By 2016, Girkin and his allies in the self-declared People's Republics of Donetsk and Luhansk had dragged eastern Ukraine into unending conflict. This smouldering war would presage the cyber attacks to follow. One of the first volleys came in December 2015, when Russian state-backed hackers used black energy malware to cause mass power outages across Ukraine during winter. Over 230,000 citizens were left shivering in darkness on Christmas Eve. The psychological impact was alarming, as power was cut to hospitals, transportation systems, and other vital infrastructure. But it was only a precursor for the cyber disasters to follow. Russia unleashed an even more destructive cyber attack on Ukraine in June 2017 through malicious software called NotPetya. This modified ransomware disabled thousands of computers by irreversibly wiping data, rather than encrypting it and asking for ransom payments. NotPetya inflicted over 10 billion in damages globally, with Ukraine experiencing severe disruption to its financial sector, government agencies, airports and power grid. The virus quickly spread worldwide, even affecting shipping and pharmaceutical giants like Maersk and Merck. Security experts linked NotPetya directly to Russia's GRU military intelligence agency. Its release coincided with Ukraine's Constitution Day, raising suspicions of Russian sabotage. Ukraine struggled for months to recover from the devastating impacts. May 2018, Russia targeted millions of internet routers and network devices with VPN filter malware. Although it infected over 500,000 devices globally, only about 15% of them were located in Ukraine. VPN filter enabled espionage, data theft, and crippling cyber attacks. Analysts speculated that VPN filter's activation aimed to disrupt the UEFA Champions League final in Kyiv and humiliate Ukraine on an international stage. Alongside these cyber attacks, Russia persistently spread disinformation and propaganda through hacked Ukrainian websites and social media manipulation. Its influence even reached into the 2016 US elections through troll farms like the Internet Research Agency and other hacking and leaking operations. This initial historical context offers vital insight into the escalating cyber aggression Russia directed against Ukraine for years before its full-scale physical invasion. While Russia was assaulting Ukraine's cyber defenses, a volunteer group of Ukrainian hackers and activists rallied to fight back. Known as the IT Army of Ukraine, this grassroots movement arose spontaneously after Russia's seizure of Crimea in 2014. It gained members and fame over years of low-intensity cyber warfare. Consisting of over 400,000 followers across social media, the IT Army coordinated cyber attacks through Telegram channels. Participants varied from casual tech enthusiasts to highly skilled hackers. They aimed to infiltrate Russian systems, create online havoc, and humiliate the aggressor government whenever opportunities emerged. Calling themselves an army, framed their role as digital soldiers protecting Ukraine. In April 2022, the IT Army made global headlines by hacking Russia's central bank and leaking citizen data. The exposed personal information offered powerful leverage material. Other major operations included the January 2022 shutdown of Russia's Chesnysnak product certification system, causing multi-day disruptions. In May 2022, the IT Army took over Russian radio stations to play Ukraine's national anthem and broadcast anti-war messages. This psychological operation reached into homes on Victory Day. That same month, the army disabled Russia's RuTube video platform during WW2 commemoration events, redirecting traffic to YouTube with Ukrainian resistance messages. While not officially supported, the IT Army's creativity and volunteer commitment earned admiration as grassroots cyber warriors resisting against Russia's aggression. Their actions demonstrated Ukraine's determination. Russia's full-scale physical invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 opened the floodgates for increasingly damaging cyber attacks between the adversaries. Ukraine suffered major cyber assaults on government and critical infrastructure as Russian forces advanced. These digital offensives disabled banking, communications, and transportation. In March, a suspected Ukrainian hack targeted the computers managing compressors at a Russian gas facility, causing a sharp drop in throughput. Gas supplies to Europe fell as Putin weaponized energy. Days later, Russian hackers struck back by breaching an air traffic control system in Kyiv. Several civilian flights narrowly avoided disaster in the ensuing chaos. As the kinetic war raged, the cyber war also brought civilian suffering. In June, Russia's military intelligence agency apparently hacked Ukraine's pension fund system. The cyber heist stole over $150 million earmarked for retiree payments. The elderly struggled as payments mysteriously never reached their accounts. Ukraine's digital defenders fought back. In April, the IT Army hijacked Russian state TV to broadcast an eerie message. The blood of thousands of Ukrainians and hundreds of dead children is on your hands. TV and the authorities lie. This bold cyber attack aimed directly at Russian citizens, hoping to counter Kremlin propaganda and sow domestic dissent. The digital shadow war continued without restraint. The cyber war between Russia and Ukraine involved interventions, disruptions, and intrigue from various external actors across the globe. One major provider of connectivity to Ukraine has been SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet service. Since February 2022, SpaceX has donated over 20,000 Starlink satellite units to Ukraine. This allowed Ukraine's government and forces to maintain digital communications, even with extensive ground infrastructure damage. Some analysts argue Starlink proved strategically decisive by enabling coordinated resistance. However, there are drawbacks. Russia has seemingly attempted to hack or jam Starlink signals near the front lines. SpaceX also restricts Ukraine's use of Starlink for controlling drones and weapons. Questions remain about Starlink's reliability in wartime and Musk's influence over Ukraine's digital access. But its services proved far faster to deploy than fiber or cell towers. Intrigue also swirled around the fall from grace of the notorious Russian oligarch Yevgeny Prigozhin in August 2023. Prigozhin had close Putin ties and controlled the Wagner Group private military company, driving violent Russian advances. His chartered plane, crashed mysteriously in the Tver region. While the details are murky, His death fueled rumors of power struggles within Putin's inner circles. It may have enabled other figures to gain influence over mercenary forces. The full implications are still unfolding, but the loss of this high-profile crony hinted at shifting dynamics behind the scenes in Moscow. Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues to rage over a year later, and the parallel cyber war persists in the fog of conflict. Hackers on both sides endeavor to breach enemy systems for military advantage and public messaging. Russia has degraded Ukraine's digital infrastructure and weaponized attacks to sow unrest. Blackouts, bank heists, and scrambled government data afflict citizens already bearing the brunt of urban bombardments. Ukraine's volunteer IT army persists in penetrating Russian media, communications and services to counter Kremlin propaganda. Their cyber guerrilla tactics aim to damage morale and embarrass Putin's regime on the digital front. Western cybersecurity firms have also joined Ukraine's defense, providing threat intelligence and technical assistance. Global alliances are vital to fortify Ukraine against Russia's aggression, both physical and virtual. Ultimately, this cyber war reveals uncomfortable truths. No nation is immune to crippling cyber attacks, and norms governing digital conflict remain dangerously unclear. As cyber operations inevitably play growing roles in modern wars, the world must better define acceptable use and proportionality. We should protect civilians from becoming pawns used to spread fear through our now inescapably networked societies. Ukraine's resilience offers hope their people's courage and human bonds can triumph over any adversary, whether of flesh or bites. By working together across borders, we can build a digital future that uplifts humanity. This grueling conflict highlights the need for more cooperation and rules to govern nation-state cyber warfare. As we watch history unfold, we must ask ourselves, what lessons can the world learn to prevent such widespread cyber attacks and protect our digital lives? The answer, while uncertain, is undoubtedly tied to our ability to understand, adapt to, and prepare for this new age of warfare. This conflict serves as a critical reminder that the conflicts of the past and the past in itself was the worst.
Oh, hello there, dear viewer. Still here, are we? Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this journey through the absurdities of history. If you're looking for more content like this, here's what the YouTube gods think you will want next. If you wish to support the channel further, feel free to check the description below for some useful links, and bye for now.